after the rain delay. Because if I didn't leave on Thursday on the rain delay, I wouldn't have heard the great special that is going on at the Steel Yard for food this week.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Jory Ride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk Podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I hope this week is a little bit louder because for some reason I don't know if because I have the fan blowing in the back that I had noise suppression on my microphone. So when I played it back, I was really quiet. So hopefully this week's a little bit better. And maybe Chuck, you know, turn the volume up because my second microphone, I didn't realize when we were recording last week, I had it on the ground. So I don't know how you heard me. I just must talk that loud.
You know what? I think it's last week we had really nothing to be loud about
You're not
from
wrong.
a positive perspective, and I I don't know that I necessarily listen to what you're saying, anyways. So
I don't
really,
think
it's kind of pull into that.
I don't think I listen to what I say either half the time. I mean, and again, it always seems that we're off in a better mood when the Railcats win on a Sunday and we get to record it and talk about it. But let's not hide the fact. So far we've only won 2 games this week, and they happen to be Friday, Saturday, or Friday and today. It's Sunday. Still have one more game against Kansas City. But the getting swept by Kane County did not help us whatsoever trying to make a playoff push or try to get back in the playoffs because now we are 8 games out of a playoff spot. That is a hill to climb, and we're looking at 2 different series here. We're looking at a Kane County series where I think, to be honest with you, the RailCats played abysmal. They weren't smart. They don't play smart. They didn't. We talked about how there was things, and then it seems like this Kansas City series we're playing a little bit smarter. We're being more productive in the outside situations that we have, but it's still not enough. There's still problems. There's still issues. Could it be a turning corner? Maybe, but I don't believe it. I mean, I go on a little rant here a little bit, but we haven't won 2 games in a series since May 25th.
We haven't won 2 games in a row.
We haven't won 2 games in a row. You're not wrong on that situation. But we haven't won 2 games in a series since May 20th, and we haven't won a series was that May 20th because it was against Winnipeg. So
one series that we've won.
One great series, and great. I wouldn't call that too great, but and then it's just like the year that we're abysmal at this point. And I'm not saying I heard it today with the Carter Woodill and his broadcast crew. I enjoy listening to Carter, so I switched. Today was the day that I became a trader, and I switched over to Kansas City's broadcast. But they were talking about the lineup and the things that we've been preaching for a while. Like, the roster's not that bad. We just don't know what the issue is. I mean, I think me and you can. We're just starting to figure it out because we had that discussion on Thursday. But they're like this lineup's not that bad. They can be productive. It's just when they have their opportunities, they're not succeeding on those opportunities, and that's what they could be better if they could just do that, and they're just not at this point. But maybe, who knows? We still have a hot minute. But what I was getting into is Baron Radcliff makes an amazing robbing catch.
Number 2 on
Number
Sports.
2. And the ironic part about that is 10 years ago, Tillman Pugs made the same catch, almost identical spot, robbing the Kansas City T-Bones of a home run. This is what 2 weeks in a row? Or I think
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row that we've had a top 5 and a top 2.
Might have been 3 weeks, but yes, we top number 5 in the top 10 and number 2 in the top 10. And how many other American Association teams can say that they've done that? And then today, we wind up having Peralta get a double play. I believe he was sitting at the edge of the outfield on his butt when he tossed it with his glove, right, to second base to get the double play. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, when are we not making fabulous plays? Now I understand there was a play today where we uh, get the ball. I believe it was the inning they scored 2 runs. Ball gets hit to the outfield. JR center field
Yep.
is going to the right. Baron's going to his left. Baron realizes he's going to catch that JR is going to catch it, so he kind of stops. JR sees him out of the corner of his eye, hits off the glove, lands. The guy gets a double, and they score a run. That would have been the third out of the inning. Yeah, we make boneheaded plays sometimes. They didn't count that as an error. I think that they should have.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't. I understand why they did it because in that situation, if it was anyone else in center field, I don't think they would have made that catch. But again, I think the right fielder would have made. I think Barron would have made that catch. But it's the communication aspect of it. It's the center fielder's ball. No matter how you want to play it, and Barron should have played the backup role in that situation and took a different route versus that. But I think that's just the communication aspect. I know the wind was was shifting. I know it was blowing out at one point, then blowing in at one point. I mean, you even saw it with Jake Gunther's home opposite home run.
well,
You know,
let's we're getting into a lot of stuff here, but yeah, the thing is, when you go to the Kane County games, there were multiple times where you saw we weren't calling the
yeah,
ball, or we've got 3 people all calling the ball, and there was one out in right field where you had first, I believe it was first, second, and the right fielder running after the ball, and the pitcher says, "Call it,"
yeah,
somebody call it, and they did, and we wind up getting the out, right? But even the pitchers can see that, hey, we got a lot of communication gaps out there that are causing us to have stupid plays. And, I think that the JR and the Baron is one of them, right? Both of these guys are focused on the ball and they're not necessarily focused on yelling, I got it. And maybe it needs to be one of those things where no matter what, when you're going after the ball, you yell it so that somebody knows. That way you get in the habit of doing it. But that could have been the end of it. They tied the game. It could have been where we were just sloppy and we just kind of tossed our hands up. That would have happened last year. Last year, a play like that would have ruined the game for us,
yeah.
right? But all of a sudden, 3 home runs in one inning, a
Yeah, that
bomb, a
was
strikeout, a bomb, a strikeout, a bomb. I mean, it's like, come on, what team is this? And I'm messaging you, and I'm like, why do we look so good today? Do they not know that they're playing at the time the number one team in the the West? Do they not know that this is a team that's like got a really good record, and yet we're beating them? Go into extra innings, or not extra innings. We go to the ninth inning with a tie in the game that we lost. We played Kane County. We had extra innings, one game.
yeah.
So it's we say it, we say it, we say it. We're right there. I think we're starting to see it. At least these 2 games, we're starting to see it because 2 of these games weren't close. We closed it up. We shut it down. I like the fact uh, that Lamar or K Dub uh, moved Nate to not being in the closer role,
Yeah.
move him something closer to the 6th, 7th inning, 8th inning thing. And we saw Cody Reed come out and get walked off yesterday. 1 pitch, home run, game over. Well, today he came up and he shut him down. So, just so much to look at, so much to get excited about. I'm
I,
the the Gunther home run where the guy looked like it was a check swing, looked
mhm.
like it was like, oops, I accidentally swung the bat, and the ball just kept going, and it's a home. I'm like, really? How much power does a guy have to check swing like that or to swing like that and be able to take it 320 yards?
Yeah, there. Don't get me wrong, Chuck. There's a lot of positives to take away, and I think we've done a good job in the past to try to find those positives. I mean, we're getting ready to the All Star break's coming around, and they were talking on the Kansas City's broadcast about Peralta potentially being the starting shortstop for for the East Side, and I would agree with him on that aspect. I mean, I know early on the year we were kind of iffy on like him being there, but he's improved so much. He takes certain angles. There was a play that was right up the middle, and most people probably would have dove for it. He took a certain angle at it. He ran. He picked it up, and he threw it. And I mean, I know he had the one where he was on his butt and he threw the ball, but there's other plays like those plays are pop out at you, but there's also certain plays that he makes where when you really break it down, it's more difficult than it looks. And I know the early ons, our critique of him was the ones where he was throwing off his back foot. Like, do you really think you need to be making that play, or he's double clutching? I think he's gotten better at that. His
Yes.
range is there, and his decision making has been better. There's improvements. I just I don't know what it is. I I know what the main problem is. And I know I hear this all the time. So it, they love to bring up the fact. I know this still goes on to like the past year as well, but they like to bring on the broadcast when they're trailing after 8. Right now they're 0-26. Right? There's only 3 teams that have any sort of wins after 8. Like that after 8, like most of the time the game's sealed at that point. That's like a football game with a minute left. Like it's basically sealed up. Like
Right.
there's nothing that you're really
Right.
gonna do that. What's heartbreaking to me is when I look at these when you're after 5, we're 0-24 when trailing. After 6, we're 0-26. After 7, we're 0-26. When we're even after 5, we're 2-5. But when we're winning after 5, 6, 7, 8, we've only after one after winning after 6, we're 9-1. Like we have to even at positive when we're positive at 5 innings, we're 8-3. We have to get to that point. But the other issue that we have is when we score first. You want to guess what our record is?
Not very good.
10-11. Like I'm just saying, like that's you have to. We take the lead in so many of these games, and we're 10-11. Like and that's the part that I just don't understand. It's like, but again, we're last in every category: batting average, ERA. Other than stolen bases, everything else is just towards the bottom, and it's all bombing out again on us. But the
Yeah,
team
we
feels
saw
different.
it does. We saw you know, look at the past couple of well, let's look at the past couple of weeks. Um Plays where a guy's on second and he decides to go home. We send him home and he's nailed.
Yeah,
We had a Peralta one where Peralta didn't even slide. The catcher had the ball, was standing there waiting for him,
yep.
and they just had a cup of tea, on the base path because he knew he was gone. Just stuff like that. Bad, bad plays on the base paths. Quite a few of them. Um, Times where I believe it was one game where we had 3 innings in a row where we got a base runner to third base and we left him there.
Yep.
We didn't score any runs, and we got a base runner to third base 3 innings in a row, and we just said, "Hey, hope you enjoy it. Let's leave you there." A lot of guys on base on these games, not making things happen, not getting those clutch hits, but um, some of that I think is changing a little bit. We're starting to see some of these guys have um, little bit more faith in themselves. I think a little more confidence.
Well,
Guys,
is it that, or is it because we talked about this Thursday? We said I sat down and I said I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why we struggle. It's not that we don't have the talent. We're just dumb. and I don't mean
Yeah,
that in a bad way. Well, to a certain extent, but they're not dumb. They're very intelligent players. I'm just saying I don't think it's either in the moment where they have brain lapse and they fall apart, or what has been the main difference. What has been the main difference between the Kane County series and the Kansas City series? I was able to watch one game, and I could tell you right off the bat the base running was better. We were being more productive in our
absolutely.
bats, and what change happened that most people may not have noticed if they don't watch the games, but we have a rotation in the coaching staff at third.
Right.
So the new coach,
Marty
volunteer
Martin.
coach, Marty Mart, was at first base and Jason was at third. In this series against Kansas City, it's flip flop. Jason's at first and Marty Mart is at third.
Yep.
Now, I've seen it multiple times. I saw it with Lamar and I saw it with Jason. How many times have we discussed on this podcast and in person, and how many times have we thrown our hands up in the air? The ball lands right in front of the center fielder, right in front of the left fielder, and we send a guy from second to home,
Right.
and they get thrown out by a million miles.
Yep.
Today, I don't remember who it was, but someone hit a ball. Someone was sitting at second, and just moved to third. Didn't try to push it. Didn't try to do anything, and the stop sign was there immediately. And all the players, I think it was Gunther was at second. There was a foul ball that was kind of a hard play at right field, and Gunther immediately went back to the bag, tagged up, and came over. Now I don't know if that's if Marty Mark's back there saying tag up, tag up, tag up, tag up, or that's just Gunther just going back.
Right.
You can't see that point, but there's been a change there. And out of the 3 games, you've won 2 out, and you could have won 3 in a row. You just one bad pitch, and you can't put that on Cody Reed. That just happens. Like this Kansas City, you had 3 bombs today from uh, the RailCats. So it's just one of those situations. A home run, you give a home run to walk off. That is what it is. It's Kansas City for you. Like that's just gonna
Right.
happen.
Right.
But to go into Kansas City, and I meant to look it up, but I feel like every year that we play Kansas City, we play a lot better than we do anyone else. I don't know what it is about Kansas City. It just feels like when we play them, we up the ante just a little bit harder.
There's 2 teams that it feels like every year I would say dominate. Kansas City's one of them. I feel as though all of a sudden it's a different team. In previous years, but not this year, Kane County's been one
Yeah,
of those.
I would agree.
And so this is the first year where you're like, "Ooh, we got swept by Kane County." I don't think that's happened in a very long time. And then they sweep us again, whatever. Uh, so yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the guys get a lot of sleep on the bus, if they're well rested, whatever it is, hey, we need to bring that kind of attention home. Um, we've got uh, really, we're just giving away outs sometimes that we
Yeah,
shouldn't be. Um, and that right there is painful for us because we need all the outs we can get. So, or all the opportunities we can get. Uh, I love watching these past 3 games. Um, love that we were up the first game and there was an interference call because somebody was running left of the line on a bunt.
mm.
And we want to call that interference because Johnny No Go missed the ball. Um, and Lamar went out there, even though we're up, and he was pissed. And somebody said, I don't think I've ever seen Lamar that pissed before.
Was that
Uh,
was that Friday's game?
I believe it was Friday's game.
Okay, the one. Yeah.
But
Okay.
we ended up winning
Yeah.
quite handily.
Okay. Yeah.
But still, Lamar out there making sure that the guys know, and then has to, in Kansas City, you have to make that long walk to the right field
Yeah. Oh
fence.
yeah.
And so I couldn't help but think, man, he's pissed and he's got to make that long walk to the clubhouse. But
Yeah.
then right after that, uh, it was Oh, left fielder for us at the time.
The
Um,
Ulch.
yeah, Ulch, Nick Ulch. He got thrown out too. And he was the one that was running. He had bunted the ball. Believe he was the one that was running to first. They've gotten us on this before.
It's hard for me to keep up to date on streaks and other things that go on with RailCats being at work, and we've talked numerous of times of the motivation to look things up may not always be there, and my mind is somewhere else because we are basically a month away until I'm on full baby watch. So my mind's a little bit elsewhere. But Jarius Richards' on base streak did end on the 25th. He had 36, which right now is the highest in the league. Eric Osberg from Milwaukee is still at 33 and still going. I don't know if they played today, if it ended, or the case may be. But his road streak, I don't. Did he get on base today? I'm not sure. I forget. Richards.
Hit a home run.
He had a home run. So I forget things.
Oh no, he didn't get on base. He got on all of them.
Well, okay, so he got on all of them. So his road streak still continues. So now he's at 19. So he still has a bit of a streak going on. That being said, I forget things. This is why I have to write things down, Chuck. This is why I keep book. I don't have photographic memory like you do.
Here's another thing that came up this past week. Chris Irwin was supposed to pitch.
Yeah. Oh,
Got a last second call. Had some tightness in his shoulder. I talked to him. Was messaging him the other day. He's feeling like he's going to find out today. I haven't messaged him today, but he was going to find out today if it was feeling any better. He thought that it felt like it was better, but you don't know until you start throwing. But he's 12 strikeouts away from tying the record for the RailCats for career strikeouts. So he's right there. There's Richards just got, I think it was stolen base number 33 today, or 30. Can't remember.
he's at 32.
32. So
Yes.
he's only 5 away from the record, I believe, to beating the record. I mean, we're not just sitting there pretending like we're playing baseball, and we're not a little league team going up against the big guys. We're in there. We're in it.
No, we are. It's just something's gotta click. The issue is so right now, there's only 2 players that are in the 20s with RBIs, and Swazi has 31. The next person is Peralta at 23, and then it drops to 19, and so on and so forth. They're, gonna give my flowers to Basabe because I think he's turned his season around as far as batting, and he's starting to get there. But he was a really big run producer for us last year, and he's sitting at 9 right now. It's just that I think that attests to what we've been talking about was in those situations we're just not connecting or clicking because we'll get a guy on first and second with no outs, and we sat there Thursday and said, I guess what's going to happen? Probably going to strike out, double play.
Is it going to be a double play and then a strikeout, or a strikeout and then a double play?
But
guy at third base.
It was just like today though. I think there was a runner on first and third, and Basabe hit a ball to right field, and at least got everyone. I think he got one person in. There was productive runs that were being scored. Being productive is something the RailCats haven't been good at this season. Right. I think they've taken a little bit of step back on trying to steal bases. I know Friday they stole, I think, 3 or 4 bases on Friday. But just being more productive and taking the ball the other way. The perfect example is LG Castillo. I forget what inning it was. He just put the ball in right field and got an RBI. It was a line drive. Just put the ball in right field far enough, and we just need more of that. And I saw glimpses of that. But here's the issue, Chuck. We go on here. We find the positives. They have a little bit of good streak going on, and then we have one game where it just all falls apart and it just piles on. I mean, we were on a 7-game losing streak before this. We're not I can't say, oh, look at the beautiful green field in front of me, and behind me is a forest behind me just burning, because that we can't ignore the fact that we're still 12-33. Um,
So I do want to look at a couple of the positives. You want to look at the negatives? That's fine. You're always a negative
Chuck,
Nancy.
Chuck, stop with this. I'm always looking at the negative part
You
of
are.
this.
You are.
Well, yeah,
Here's,
this year I am.
here's a positive. I want to throw some positives out there. First big positive I got is that Andres Diaz is pitching really good.
Yeah,
Um, and Peyton pitching really good. Yes, might give up 2, 3. I think he even gave up 5 runs one game. But our hitting isn't going through, take some losses, right? But Peyton's still pitching really good this year compared to last year. Diaz pitching really good this year. Um, Nate has been coming out pitching early, but he's been pitching really good. Had a couple of good outings. The new guy Evans, I was on the thing of saying, hey, this dude has a 54 ERA, got cut by Cleburne, and here we go picking him up and putting him in a game where it's going to matter right now as a tryout, and I believe he lost that game.
yep.
And I'm like, why do you do that? But I don't know that the guy's given up a run since.
I, I'm
He,
not. I'm not 100% positive, but this week he pitched in 3 games, pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 walks, but struck out 5, and didn't
yeah,
give up a hit.
yeah, he gave up, or he pitched 2 innings uh, yesterday or the day before and had 4 strikeouts in those
Yeah.
2 innings, right? So I mean, that guy's doing really good. And here's the thing, me and you, we can look at things, we can sit there and say, why would you pick up a guy like that? Why waste the roster spot or give a guy like that a chance? We could say that. But when you get a guy that goes out there and he performs like this guy's been doing, we really need to say to ourselves, you know what, maybe we don't know it all. And maybe Lamar or K Dub know a little bit more than we do.
I know we discussed this last week about turnover, trying to turn it over, get things going, whatever the case may be. I know we've discussed that, and yes, you have to give people due time. Like giving one guy 1 game where it's a high lever situation and you fail him, you put him up to you're putting him up basically to fail instead of succeed in that situation. But we're still 12-33. Like I just don't want to say, hey guys, let's just keep giving everyone an opportunity when we're 12 and
Right.
33.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
granted, if we take 3 out of 4 at Kansas City, you at least bought yourself another series.
Right. Here's another thing. And I want to mention this. Nick Panzetta and Howie playing for the Chicago Dogs.
That's
That,
good for them.
I was like, that's great news for them. But here's something that really made me think. I believe that some of these teams have over overstayed their budget. And I think that we do have a salary cap. I believe some of these teams are looking to shed some of these expenses that they have with these higher priced players, um, and bring in. I'm going to say Nick and Howie are performers that they'll do a good job, but they are also rookies, right? And bring in the rookies that you can pay a lot less, um, and get what you get for them.
They're
I think we're seeing more of that with the teams.
I think they're good depth pieces. They're not everyday. They're not going to be everyday starters. They're good depth pieces. They're good people off the bench. Like I know Howard already has a hit in 2 games. Nick hasn't had anything yet, but I'm not saying we had Howard. He was good, but I just don't think he's a solution for the RailCats. He could be a solution for Chicago Dogs, just to, again, money situation, whatever the case may be. But you can bring Howie off the bench to do what you need done, to lay down a bunt. If you need someone to spare a day in the infield, he's going to be able to do that for you.
Right.
We have right now. I don't think we don't have that with Hoover being out, but we do have. I guess we do have that because we have Ernie and then we have Allgaier, so we can be able to rotate people around a little bit there. So we have that situation. Not saying that the numbers are any better, but right now I'll take what we have.
Ernie's been doing. I was listening to the audio, and they were mentioning that Ernie's been working out with Chris Jacobs, the hitting coach, really working on uh, the fact that he's been slumping, which is
Yeah.
abnormal for Ernie.
Well, I'm
And
just.
then all of a sudden, he's been doing really good.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this week at least, he's 4 for 16 for a 250 batting average. I mean, he hasn't drove anyone in. He's scored 2 runs. They're all singles or whatever the case may be. Uh, but that's where the competitive nature is going to have to come in because Allgaier played only 2 games and he didn't get a hit. Like you have to feed off each other. Whoever's hot, whoever's cold. Like that's where you're just going to have to feed in
Right.
that situation. And I don't those two specifically. I think when one gets hot and the other one gets cold, you can interchange them. I don't think we've had that quote unquote in the past. So like that we're to kind of the point to where we need to start instead of taking things um what everyone's overall stats are for the year, but just taking them week by week and seeing who's actually the only part that sucks is when we record this, everything doesn't get updated right away, so we're like behind a game.
Right.
So like whatever happened today, it doesn't incorporate into the stats I'm looking at right now. I just don't have the time to do the stats. Okay.
Come on, man. Here's another thing. LG,
Mm-hmm.
4 home runs. I believe last year he only had two. He's already got 4 home runs. Laying down bunts like
Yep.
crazy. Sacrifice flies to the outfield, moving runners along. Um, I'm gonna say it, and he said this to me at the beginning of the season. Uh, I think you're seeing a different LG Castillo. I think you're seeing a guy that is very focused on team and very focused on, hey, I don't need to get the accolades. I just want to win some games and do what the team needs me to do. You're seeing that, and I don't think you see that very often in the American Association.
No, I agree, and I mean he has taken. I think the lowest his ER his average was a 196. Well, actually, my bad. It was down to a 158, and that was May 17th. So it's still a little bit early on in the season. I would say later on would be a 196 against Chicago on May 30th. So from May 30th to now, he has raised his batting average up to a 238,
Yeah,
that is highly impressive at those numbers, and he's batting a 261 this outside of today, this week with his home runs, his RBIs. Like he's productive. He's being productive, and that's what we need out of him. And I think the pressure of I know a lot of people are under the pressure of I want to make it back to affiliate ball. But I think once you let that go and you just play baseball, things get 100 times easier. I think LG's starting to kind of figure that back out. It's not so much, he still can have a chance to go to affiliate ball, but like, hey, what can I do right now in this moment to make the team better and win?
right.
And that's what you have to do. And I think the more that we get those players doing that, and I think that's something that you saw today,
Yeah,
was smart base running, smart hitting, pitching, fielding, all of it combined, you have yourself a hell of a roster.
yep,
But they have to continue to play like that.
yep. We today's team, we're facing the number one team in the other division. And if you watched how we played today, you would say we have it was probably the matchup between the two number one teams.
I would agree. And, you know,
And yesterday too. Yesterday was the same thing. Yesterday was a matchup between two number one teams. We're not number one. I believe I listened to one of the things where it was, this is the first place team against the last first team in the league against the last team in the league. You wouldn't be able to tell looking at how this game's going. You're absolutely correct. And that's the way the game went today. Win or lose didn't really matter. The way that we played today is the way that we should be playing moving forward.
I agree, and you know what they say, or you say it all the time. You know, every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut, and that's that, I think that's the hard part is me trying to be positive. Is because I every time I think positive, I think of you're saying, and
It's another nut.
I think we're the blind squirrel, and we're just having a good little
Here's
bit. But
here's
in all reality though, when you actually watch the games and you actually digest what you're seeing, still not that bad of a roster. That's why I like going to the other broadcasters to see what they're talking about. And when I hear them say, I don't know why this team is so bad because they have a good roster. And that's the away broadcast. That's not the opposite broadcast. That's not your home broadcast. And so it's just like something about that. And these guys know Kansas City, their announcers know the game of baseball.
oh yeah.
So it's just one of those like situations where
If there anybody in, there's two guys in the American Association that I love listening to. The first guy is Carter, which Carter is phenomenal at what he does, and the other guy is the guy with Fargo. Those Dan, I think is his name.
no, Dan Vaughn's with Sioux City. I like listening to Dan Vaughn. Dan Vaughn also was
that might be
for
the one that
for the RailCats.
that might be the one I'm thinking of.
But no, I can't think of the announcer for Fargo. He's great. There's don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great talent in the American Association.
Absolutely.
There's a couple broadcasts where I'm like, okay, you guys should stop broadcasting, but that's beside the point. I think there's a lot of people like, hey Kyle, you should stop doing podcasts because you probably suck. So I can't really say.
I would tell you that all the time.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I think I get that at work too. I think some people are like, why are you doing this job? You suck. So.
right.
Well, Chuck, with this podcast, we're stretching that hour mark, depending on how much I take out of this.
You better take most of it out. I don't think anybody wants to hear any of this nonsense.
You're right. We're just gonna scrap the entire thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a final out for this week?
Ooh. You know, we're looking Monday. Then the guys a 1 o'clock game. Then the guys have to drive all the way there to play Tuesday night in Gary. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Thursday night fireworks, which is going to be awesome because those are our 4th of July fireworks on the 3rd of July. I was going to ask this question earlier. I want to ask you this question. This is a question I think that this would be my final out. Would you rather have a team like the 90s Bulls where they just go out every game and they just snowplow over everybody and you already know that they're going to win? And are you really into it? Is your heart really into it? Anything like that? Or would you rather have a team that starts at the bottom and kicks and claws and gets their way to the top and wins it? I would rather have right where we're at right now and see this thing turn around and see us win. That's where I'm at. And that's what I think I'm seeing. I think I'm seeing that right now.
Okay. I will answer this question.
I don't want to hear your answer. I just wanted to my final out. What's your final out, Kyle?
You know what, Chuck? I hate you. My final out is thank be that I did leave on Thursday after the rain delay. Because if I didn't leave on Thursday on the rain delay, I wouldn't have heard the great special that is going on at the Steel Yard for food this week.
Okay.
You did I guess
No.
you didn't see my tweet. Okay.
No.
So Chuck, you like pierogies, right?
Yeah.
Right. You like barbecue, right? You like barbecue. Huh? You like barbecue, like brisket barbecue.
Sure.
So, a little birdie told me, the broadcast told me that they're going to be combining the two and having barbecue pierogies at the Steel Yard for the first, second, and third. $10. Unfortunately for fortunately for my wallet and my wife, I have to close Tuesdays and Thursday. But Wednesday, my wife and my wallet and my bank account is going to be crying. because I am going to be doing nothing but sitting in that pierogi stand and eating nothing but those pierogies. So that's my final out.
Wow. That is great news. Wow.
That's worth going to. That's just worth going in general.
I thought I was going to be excited having Kansas City and Gary and being able to come up with them, but the fact that we're sticking it to them with barbecue, that's ooh. Okay, picture this. We win 3 out of 4 in Kansas City. We come home, we tell them to suck it with the barbecue, and we just run them out of the place. Oh my goodness. Sometimes, like, the story just writes itself.
Yeah, well, the story's gonna write. Well, we're on the final page of this story, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this. And go Cats!
Go Cats!
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wrap this one up in green and white.